Hi, I hope everybody liked our little introduction where we talked about racism and what goes on with the city of Chicago, with the history of the United States and everything. There comes a point where if people go overboard on racism, and what they want to do is people who have never been involved in racism whatsoever want to sit there and go overboard and start thinking that they're going to go change what's happened 100 or 200 years ago. Again, everybody who immigrated from this country suffered from racism. They were considered the low people on the totem pole when they came into our country. There's somebody I want to introduce you to. This is Mr. Steve Broumas. He's a former City of Chicago Department of Water Management employee. I worked with Steve. We were on the same crew. I'm going to tell you, he's probably one of the hardest working people that ever put on a vest and a helmet at the City of Chicago. He was on the hydrant truck with me, and we worked together, and we had a really difficult job jerking hydrants.
Sure.
It was very, very hard work.
Yes.
We had one Hispanic gentleman, one black lady. I'm not going to mention their name. The nickname was Itchy, and there was a beautiful black lady that worked with us on our crew. Nobody was ever written up for any kind of racism, and we all worked together, and we worked hard, and we got the jobs done.
Absolutely.
The person that I'd like to speak to you today is Mr. Steve Broumas. Steve Broumas worked for the city of Chicago for a very long time.
25 years.
25 years. That's a long time to be somewhere. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about your history and the different jobs you have with the city of Chicago.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Steve Broumas. I started with the city in 1998. At that time when I started, I was thrown on a different cruise to see what I know best or what I'm going to learn best. So eventually I ended up with Mr. Ptrick McDonough, my best friend, on a hydrant truck. We were fixing hydrants, leaks, jerking the hydrants, making them tight to make sure they work fine. He was a good worker. I was a hard worker. Also, we had another black lady, Miss Annette, that was her name. Another Steve Davis, black guy. All these people were my friends. We get along fine. We had a good time, joking and laughing. No problems at all.
Okay. Steve, on a personal level,
Yeah.
you also are a pretty well-known actor.
Yes.
You play what acting do you do?
Well, basically, I work in Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, Chicago Justice, and independent action, drama, thriller movies in Chicago.
Okay. And do you work with a lot of black people and Hispanic people there?
Absolutely, it's a mixture. When I work in movies, you got blacks, you got white, Hispanics, Italians, some Greeks, but we all get along fine, no problems at all.
Okay. The another thing too is that when you work for the water department, again, you work for a great mix of different people of different races. And how did you get along with the people at the water department?
I get along so fine, so good. We're having a good time, working together hard, doing our job, joking, laughing, and then we go home. No problems, none whatsoever.
Okay. And you also got along with your bosses extremely well. After I left the hydrant truck and they put me down to the pipe yard down in the South District,
Yeah.
they transferred you to a couple different crews. And then I believe you were working independently in a pickup truck. And I believe I saw you on
Yes.
like around Western Avenue up on the northeast side
Yes.
several times. Could you tell us a little bit about that job?
Yeah, basically, I was transferred on the hydrant truck. Now, that job is what I was doing, going different neighborhoods, posting signs, no parking, getting it ready for the crew to come dig out the main sewer, the hydrant, or the pipes in the house, whatever the case might be. But my job was to post signs, no parking signs, and get the job ready for the crew to come out. That's all.
Okay, and as far as I knew, you never once had a single problem doing that. the most important part of your job was to put up signs and to make sure people weren't parking in areas that the water department crew had to bust up the street and work on broken water mains. So knowing what is needed to properly access a site and everything like that is extremely important, and it takes experience. Is that true?
That is so true. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to know how to set up the job. So there will be no complaints against you. Yes.
Okay, and as you know, the city of Chicago is a very diverse community. There's black people, there's Hispanic people,
Sure.
there's people from India, people from Israel,
Sure.
people from all over the world that come to Chicago to live here and make a living. And during the time you were doing that pickup work, you were basically responsible for yourself 100%
Absolutely.
and dealing with the people and talking to them and explaining them to what you're doing.
Yes.
Did you ever have a problem when you were doing that?
Not at all. I was doing my job. I was going about what I was supposed to do, set up, and just go on my way. No problem at all. No.
Okay, so and basically you had a good reputation of being to work on time,
Sure.
leaving on time, taking only the allotted amount of lunches, and
Sure.
doing things like that.
Yeah, I was always on time, never late, never early, not swiping out late, early, on time all the time, no written ups, no complaints, nothing at all. I'm probably, for all you know, I was gonna be the best city worker overall, over everybody. Yeah, no write ups, no nothing.
Okay, well, there's another thing that people should know too. You
Yes.
were an extremely valuable water department employee because you speak several languages. Could you tell us some of the languages you speak?
Yeah, I also use my own skills. Actually, that's my own job. I'm not supposed to do that, but I did it for the city anyway. Because, you've got a lot of diverse people from different countries and cultures. So therefore, when I went to the job site to set up, I met people who couldn't speak English. So I have to help these people speak their language so I can understand what's going on. So I'm speaking Greek, Spanish, Filipino, and Italian.
That's amazing. And I speak Russian.
Very good.
So,
Very
anyways, that means you and I can't talk in Russian,
No.
but we could speak in English.
Only English, yeah.
The other thing I wanted to tell you was after these 25 years of outstanding work and production for the city of Chicago and getting along with everybody really well, there was an incident where one of the homeowners saw you. According to what I was told, that there was a couple bugs, dangerous bugs on a sign. Now that might not exactly be what happened, but all you did was push a sign down because you were scared of getting injured. And then that turned into, once the newspapers found out about it, they tried saying that that was something racist. My understanding was not racist whatsoever. Can you basically tell us simply what happened?
Yeah, I went to this place. I think it was Hollywood Street. I was supposed to set up a job. There was a broken pipe from the B box. So, I have to walk on the grass and do a little investigation, see where the water leaks, what's going on, so I can set up accordingly. Now, there was a sign up there on top of the grass, which it says Black Lives Matter. Now, as I'm walking up to the grass, I saw a big, huge bus. As a matter of fact, I saw two of them, one on each side. So for me to check out the box that was leaking on the grass, and there's a sign next to it, I'm not going to go there when I see two big bugs. So what I did is I pulled out the sign from the middle and I made it flat down so I can do my job because I was afraid of the bus. But that person took it as a different kind of problem, which was not true at all.
Right. If I remember correctly,
Yeah.
that because it was a Black Lives Matter
Yeah.
sign, they tried turning that into you being racist and everything like that.
Not true.
And you did not steal the sign.
Nope.
You did not take it from the property.
Nope.
You did not rip the sign.
No, at all.
You did
Not-
not disrespect it.
Nope.
But
Lay
you
it
might-
flat.
Yeah, you laid it flat.
Yeah.
Now,
Because of the bugs on top, I might get bitten and I don't get sick.
right. But anyways, the city of Chicago Department of Water Management overdid their overdid everything because there was a video of it,
Yes.
and then they tried making it a racial thing. Now they
Sure.
pulled this on many white employees.
Absolutely.
The white employees I've talked to have told me that if you are white or if you are not of the correct color nowadays,
Yeah.
that the reverse discrimination is worse than the discrimination from the very beginning.
Yes.
And I think what they did to you there was absolutely terrible. And I think they overreacted and it was wrong.
Absolutely.
What the Chicago Inspector General did originally to you, and has cost the city of Chicago millions and millions of dollars, is that I reported that Paul Hansen,
Yes. Yes.
the superintendent of the North District, attacked you racially, in my opinion,
Yes.
when we were all getting ready to swipe out.
Yes.
Yeah, we were all getting ready to swipe out. And you did a Illinois Department of
Equal Opportunity
Human-
Employer.
and human
EEO.
EEOC, the Illinois, who has been historic
Yes.
at covering up these cases for
Absolutely.
politically connected people. And it turned out that Paul Hansen's first incident of being racial towards you turned out to be the catalyst to millions and millions of dollars worth of settlements against
Yes.
black people who work for the water department.
Sure.
But they covered up your incident
Yeah.
because they figured that even though you have a immigrant background, that white immigrants are not as good as black
Sure.
people who live here. And I honestly believe that this was a case of the Inspector General covering everything up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Paul was, if I remember correctly, Paul was screaming and yelling at you for parking in his space like he owns the place.
Yes.
And they were laughing and joking and making fun of you.
Mhm.
And they didn't interview me. And as a matter of fact, one of the ladies who since has been fired for Paul Hansen's shenanigans wrote up that, and she called it Pat McDonough. She purposely didn't even call me by my name, because what they used to do is they give you an alias name,
Yes.
everybody knowing who it is and what it was,
Yeah.
to cover up for the shenanigans, so the records weren't there. They did everything they did to do this. Now, there was a second incident that you were involved in while you were at the water department. My understanding is, and maybe you can correct this, you were on Facebook and there was a person that was a criminal that got arrested and was engaging in extremely bad behavior.
Yes.
That's my understanding.
Yes, correct.
And you made some sort of a comment, and you didn't use the N-word or anything like that. You used a comment on your own time while you were not at work, and you made a comment, and it seems as though they were hunting and looking for you to try to terminate
Sure.
and fire you,
Yes.
because either they have that job for somebody else, or they were just trying to purposely get you because they felt as though, since you were never in trouble before, that this is what it would take.
Yes.
Could you please tell me a little bit quickly about that incident?
Well, basically, just to finish up about Paul Hansen, I'd like to bring out something. That guy, when we went out there to swipe out of the job, not only he attacked me, he pushed me forward and he grabbed me by the neck. And he told me, if I ever do this, I'm going to kill you. Seriously? To a city friend, employee, he's going to kill me because I went in front of him? That wasn't nice at all. I got scared. All he do is say, sir, I'm sorry, but you're in front of me. Don't park anymore. Don't do it. But he just attacked me like he was going to kill me. I was shaking and threatened. That's not right. Anyway, the second incident now. When I do things on my own time and I see on Facebook bad people who commit crimes, killings, carjacking, robberies, it's my freedom of speech to say whatever I want to say. under my constitutional right, I have the freedom of speech. The city took away my freedom of speech under my constitutional right. They show me that they are racist, prejudiced, and double-faced propaganda. And guess what? They threw me under the bus to get killed. Seriously? I thought the city was supposed to be equal opportunity employment. No, they're not. They're double racist face propaganda people.
Now, you had a hearing with your union representative on Local 1092.
Yes.
Now, I've had a good relationship with Local 1092. And my understanding is, from the best that I could see from the documents I've examined, is that the union threw you under the bus. They told
Correct.
you that if you didn't either admit to this
Or retire or something.
retire,
Yeah.
that they were going to take your pension and
Yes.
steal your pension.
Yes, sir.
And they used threat and intimidation.
Yeah, very.
And the Local 1092 people did not do anything enough to go to bat for you.
Yes.
And to make you feel as though you were going to have your family starve if they didn't force you to retire. Now, I think that should be totally illegal.
It is.
I want you to know there are attorneys looking at what's gone on in your situation,
Sure.
my situation, other people in the water department situation.
Yes.
What they've done with workers' compensation when you get hurt. You got hurt with the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
And if I remember correctly, that a tree fell off, a big branch fell off a tree and hit you, and
Yes.
it could have killed you.
Oh, yeah, I broke my nose, my eyes were black, swollen here, my legs swollen. I was in a hospital for 2 days. Yes.
Yeah. And what people have to understand is, during this time,
Yeah.
I fought the Committee on Finance because they were stealing from injured city workers.
Yeah.
And they tell you can't come back to the city unless you sign off and say you're 100% cured.
Yeah.
And that's a lie.
It is a lie, yes.
Yeah. But anyways, right now, the last issue I was going to tell you about is Alderman Burke's going to be going to jail.
Wow.
He's going to be going to jail. He's not going to like it. We've worked very hard
Sure.
to get this guy finally tossed in jail.
Sure.
And there was a whole ton of city workers that were getting their workers' compensation benefits stolen from them.
Yeah.
And they were telling that you had to sign off that there was nothing wrong. One guy, I don't know if you remember him, he was a laborer. He worked in the North District. He ended up killing himself.
Who is that? Oh, my
in the
God.
garage. Yeah. So anyways, that's what's been going on in the water department. And it's up to us to expose this and to stop this. I want to personally thank my dear friend that is right here talking to me.
Absolutely.
And what an honor and a privilege it was working with you, together with you. And I think the city not allowing you to continue to work there is cheating all the taxpayers out of probably one of the best employees that they had and the most loyal.
For sure.
And they've allowed people to put absolutely criminal Facebook posts up that were extremely racist.
Yes.
And they're still doing it to this day.
It's against the law.
Yeah. So anyways.
I'd like to say something else too.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as far as the union concerned, okay, I was paying the union every paycheck so much money. So in the past 25 years, I paid the union, you're not going to believe it, $225,000 after my figures and countings. Now, if I pay the union this much money, they have to go to the extreme to protect me and my job. They never did. They just threw me under the bus. So the city and the union threw me under the bus. So all my money went away for nothing. And when I talked to Laverty, one of the union representatives, you know what he told me? He told me, well, we are clean gangsters. We cannot protect you. I think you have to retire. Seriously? After I gave you 225,000? That's not right at all. That pisses me off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Steve, we're in contact with attorneys. The city of Chicago knows for a fact that I've helped with several lawsuits, including Mr. Abreu
Absolutely.
and other current lawsuits that have resulted in millions and millions and
Sure.
millions of dollars in settlements.
Yes.
I'm very proud of that. And then we're going to go to court one last time over people's First Amendment rights and the people that are misusing the city and taxpayers' money for their personal gain. They're going to be exposed. We know who
Sure,
they are,
sure.
and they're going to wish to God they weren't trying to hurt really
Yeah.
decent people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you very much again, Steve. And I'm sorry what they did to you. And
Yeah.
again, I want to tell you, working with you was an honor and a privilege.
I felt real better. But and one more thing, I'd like to say this: when I put papers for Mr. Enhancer EEO, you know what? The city didn't do nothing to him. Why nothing? He attacked me, tried to choke me, push me, and they covered up the story. Didn't do nothing to him. What about me, myself? That's not right at all. It's a big cover up. It's a big scam. I got scammed right there. He's supposed to get fired for attacking city workers. Thank you.